motherfucker. Doing it again.
It's that time again. Oh, don't even start. I was answering the phone, you motherfucker.
I was talking shit, and then you answered. You made me look back.
Oh, I heard you say, here we go again. Here we go again.
I don't sound like that. My voice.
That's what you sounded like just in that moment.
No, that's some nerd with a nasal problem. My voice is way deeper than that.
Yeah. Fucking asshole. I heard you. Yeah.
All right, you caught me. I don't care.
Unbelievable. Right 3 times.
Well, that's too longer than it should have been. You got to snap to it.
Jesus. I said 20 minutes. That was 40 fucking minutes ago. So you really want to talk about something? You're late.
No, it was not. It was 10 minutes ago. And and if you want to really be honest, it was either that or take a pause in the middle of that.
You know what? You got some balls because I got to use the bathroom. I got to take I got to take a poop ski. And I said no because he's going to call. So I'm pacing around my kitchen, clenching cheeks. Literally, I am risking a second go of shitting myself for the sake of this podcast.
Yeah, well,
and you just go take yours leisurely. Let me just go. There was no notice, no warning.
There was no leisurely about it, my friend. It was my body reacted as if I just drank half a bottle of olive oil. Okay,
but a warning would have allowed me to go.
A warning?
But no, I'm over here. We're gonna do this whole podcast. I want everybody to visualize me. I'm clenching my cheeks, walking around doing this. That's what's happening right now.
Doing the cock-a-doodle dance.
Yeah.
I mean,
literally.
Listen. Between you and me, nobody's listening right now. Just go sneak in there and do it while we're talking.
No, I'm good. Let's go. Let's bring it. When the third wave comes, it's time to end the podcast.
You've peed on the air before. We can. We can. No. What?
No, let's go. Move along.
Now you're just well. It's your podcast. So let's move on. Let's get to it, buddy.
What do you got today?
I got what you got. Oh, you want me to tell you a good story, or
go ahead.
Or should I bring up your bathroom story from the weekend?
Well, go ahead with your story first.
So I was at Wawa today, and I wasn't getting anything to eat. By the way, I was just getting a few drinks for
let's throw that in there so
for the day.
Knows.
And I pull up to the station, and I literally had just put my phone in my pocket as I'm walking to the front door. And between me and the front door, there's a little stretch of the outside dining area kind of things, the benches and the tables. And at one of the tables is this old lady who kind of like has a walker and has like a one of those like oxygen tank things on her nose. Okay. And she's always there. That's like her seat. Every day when I go hit the Wawa to get drinks before I start my day of work, she's there. And I watch as this other homeless lady. Now, it's not the homeless lady that's the conductor. And when I say the conductor, she has this one hand that won't stop, like, swishing back and forth, like she's conducting music. And no matter what she's...
Oh, my God.
Okay, and she's, like, always there. She's got a nice tan. She's got some crazy hair going. And she's got the conductor hand that never stops. I bet you it goes when she's sleeping and everything. It wasn't her, but it looked like her. And it was another one, and this one starts to go up to the lady that's sitting at the table with the oxygen tube running under her nose. And this car screeches up, kind of like as close as he can get to where they are, and the window rolls down, and he goes, "I thought I told you not to bother that woman." And the homeless lady, who's not the conductor woman, but looks like the conductor woman, whips around and yells, "You can suck my dick!"
No.
And I'm reaching my hand into my pocket, trying to get the phone out to film all of this. And by the time I get the phone out and I pull the camera app up, it's all just been blown off. He like yelled something else that I don't remember and screamed.
And who's this guy yelling at this?
I don't know, but he was
the conductor lady, but looks like her.
I don't know, but it does seem like he runs in that circle because he had a car, You know,
Right.
you know what I mean? So I don't know, but it was very
I
like
just
this.
want to know how the oxygen lady. She's homeless too.
No, I don't think so. I think she comes to get her
Oh, she just
breakfast.
hangs around.
Yeah,
Okay.
she looks. I'm not taking a shot here, but you know, homeless people don't always look like they just had a bath. This lady always looks like
Right.
clean. It just looks like this is part of her routine in the morning. She comes here,
Oh,
gets
okay.
like her Wawa and sits and chills and reads the paper and sucks on her oxygen tank and eats a you know
Sucks on her oxygen
a,
tank.
a bacon egg and cheese
Oh,
bagel or something. So yeah, so that was my excitement for the day. But I'm a little upset that I didn't capture it for the world to see.
yeah.
It was fantastic. Uh,
Jesus.
yeah,
That sounds like a good story.
it was. And
Oh,
then,
and I guess you know what? People have to understand though. That's Florida.
but
like that situation is it's probably normal.
I
You
mean,
know.
you know, that corner, that gas station, that area. There's a lot of that going on.
Right.
It's not like my neighborhood, but yeah, it's definitely.
You know, I'm just saying. Like I feel like I mean, growing up in Florida, things happen in Florida that never happen anywhere else.
Yes.
Like some of the things that we've seen, and it'll A, people would never believe it. Like no way that happened, and B, it only happens in Florida.
Well,
Like it's this is
like for
that's
example,
it.
you just one day you'll have an alligator in your swimming pool,
Right.
or you know, and like yes, there are alligators in other parts of the country, like let's say Louisiana, but I feel like Louisiana doesn't have as many like swimming pools in their backyards as like our as like South Florida does.
Right.
So it's like that interesting combination. Like you know you have or either know someone who has over the course of your time in Florida had a
Right.
alligator in your swimming pool. It just
Yeah.
happens, you know.
Yeah.
That
And
kind of
even
stuff.
I mean, even in your yard, I remember as a kid, my grandma had a condo on a lake, and three, four, five times as a kid, my dad had to call the alligator guy to come get the gator out. And I mean, he'd go in and fish this, you know, 7, 8 foot gator out of a lake
Yeah.
that's in a neighborhood, you know, an old folks community. And yeah, you know,
I told you the toilet snake story from my roommate, right?
no,
Oh. So when I used to live in this apartment complex the first time around, this is my
right,
second go around. The first year I lived with Jackie and Broder, and then Broder got us evicted, and I just moved like one building over because I had met Amanda who worked at the ale house we went to all the time, and she said, "Oh, my boyfriend, his roommate left. He's looking for a roommate." And I'm like, "Yeah, fuck yeah!" That's like the shortest move I can physically make. You know, it was like down a flight of stairs and across the street and up a flight of stairs. So I'm like, "Fuck yeah!" And that whole thing is a convoluted story itself where you know, I ended up fucking her and he caught her,
here we
us,
go.
and he kicked her out and told me I could stay because I pay rent. So like 2 years later, while I'm still paying rent there, we kind of became friends again. And it was one Sunday we were watching football, and he like comes bolting out of his room, and he's like looking at me, and he's from New England. He's like from Massachusetts. He's got that Boston accent kind of thing, and he's like, "There's a fucking snake in my room," and I'm like, "What?" And I'm like sitting on the couch. I'm a little annoyed that he's fucking with me. I'm like, "What are you talking about?" He goes, "There's a 5 foot fucking snake in my room." I'm like, "Are
Like
you?"
literally 5 foot snake.
Well,
I would freak the fuck
that's
out.
like New England excitement. That measurement.
Oh yeah.
It was like 2.5 to 3 feet, but it was this black snake, and he's like, it went right across my room and into my closet, and he's like, and I'm like, all right, yeah. I get up, I go, and I look, and there's this like fucking snake in his closet, and I'm like, well, I didn't see it, so I don't know if it's like a non-poisonous rat snake or a fucking like cottonmouth, you know, which. So
Right.
I'm not
Could
fucking
be anything in Florida.
right.
Water moccasin. You don't know.
And so I'm like, well, you better call someone to get that thing because I'm not trying to get it. Because I like grab one of his golf clubs and just enough to move some clothes around so I could see it in there. And I was like,
Right.
yeah, I saw like the thickness, the girth of the body, and I was like, yeah, I'm not fucking with that thing. And so he's like, he's like, all right, and he called animal control, the gator guy or whoever.
Yeah.
Half the time I think the guy from Jackass is going to show up. That guy Manny,
Right. Yeah.
because he's like local, and and so we're waiting for this guy to show up, and for like the next fucking like hour and 15 minutes, all he's talking about is how he's buying a plane ticket back to New England. He's done with this fucking state. Fuck this. I can't sleep another night here. Blah, blah, blah. Anyway, the guy comes, and he roots around. He grabs a snake, and he holds it up. And it's like, yeah, it's like 2.5 to 3 feet.
Probably a harmless snake.
It
right?
was a rat snake. But who fucking knew? And I'm not I'm not gonna roll the dice. Plus, it's his room, not mine. What the fuck do I care?
Yeah.
So I'm like, well, dude, before you leave, like, and this guy came out on a Sunday. Like, first of all, weekend, Sunday, football. I don't know how much you charged my roommate. It must have been an arm and a fucking leg.
You sure it wasn't Snake Master?
Yeah, because it was done competently.
Jesus.
Fuck him. He blocked me on Facebook. I don't have to say nice things
All
about
right,
him.
tell the story. We don't want to go into this. Let's go.
I'm sorry. I don't want to hurt your relationship.
No, I'm just saying. Nobody else cares.
All right, they might if they heard the story. But so I go, how did the fucking snake get in here? He goes, well.
Oh, hold on. I don't mean to cut you off, but for some reason when you just said that, I thought about the cookie incident.
I don't know why, but
I don't know why, but I got a visual. I don't know. Just keep going. Oh.
I'm so confused right now. So I go, no, just like out of curiosity, because I'm like, am I gonna have like more snakes in the house? But apparently this is rarer than getting struck by lightning. So because we were on the 3rd fucking floor. It's like, what did it go up 2 flights of stairs to come in? He goes, well, someone could have like carried it up in like a potted plant or something, and then it crawled out and under your door.
Yeah.
So, we had. Before I tell you the other options, the next day I had maintenance put one of those like little sweep seals at the bottom of the door.
Yeah.
And then he goes, or it could have like a bird could have grabbed it and then dropped it on the roof, and it came down like the plumbing exhaust and up through your toilet.
That's fucking wild.
As soon as he saw that, my pale New England fucking roommate turned 5 shades whiter, thinking that it came up his toilet. So fast forward like a day or two later, he didn't move and everything kind of calmed down. But I walked by his fucking bedroom, and if you remember the layout in my apartment now, it's the same layout then. Yeah. And so my roommate's room was my roommate's room there. So you could kind of like when you're walking by
you can see
see the toilet.
Right.
You walk by his bedroom door, you can see the toilet, and I notice that on top of the toilet is a 30-pound dumbbell. He put it on top of the seat. I look closer, and he has put a wood board over the toilet, then put the seat down over that, then the lid down, and then the 30-pound weight.
That's hilarious.
And he had that set up like for 3 months before he finally gave up the ghost and got tired of unpacking and repacking every time he had to take a shit or a piss. So that's one of my Florida stories. I mean, my family when we growing up had 4 kids, a pretty big house. We were on a canal. We had snakes in the house every now and then.
Like rat snakes were normal.
Yeah, I mean, shit like
and
that.
But those keep away the bad snakes because they eat them.
Yeah, and you'd have the dead lizard, petrified, clinging to the curtain or something. But
right, yeah, because he melted to it. Then he's like a rock hard lizard.
Yeah, starved to death, clinging to the fucking
and he's still clinging. Right,
yeah, he's just right. Yeah. His hooks are still in the curtain. So yeah,
right.
Yeah, so
that was normal. That was normal living there.
Yeah. So
living there we saw some crazy shit. I even remember when I was like young. We used to ride our bikes. It wasn't developed yet, and there was wild boars back there, where we ride our bikes, and they were
up in Boca.
Yeah, because it wasn't developed past 441. It was just like farmland, and there was wild boars back there. Yeah, and you ride a bike and they would chase you.
Yeah, They don't fuck with those. They'll fuck you up, man.
Yeah, I know, but it was fun when you were 12.
We used to on the golf courses, chase the toads and
Right? Yeah. We played football on the golf course.
yeah.
Yeah, that was fun.
When it rained, we would
When it rained,
do
right?
the
And it was
skimboarding
flooding.
and stuff like that. Yeah.
Right? Yeah, you go. Right. You would go and skinboard and play football on the golf course. It was flooded.
Yep.
Yeah, it was a good time. Yeah, so I know I told some loss prevention stories, and before we get to my toilet story from this week, there was a loss prevention story I wanted to tell from Stein Mart in Boca. I thought about it this week, and it's one of the wildest things I've ever seen in my life. I actually have two stories. I don't know which one I want to tell because they're both pretty crazy.
I'll tell you, the one of the woman getting pushed over and instantly shitting herself was pretty fucking up there. Like, that's fantastic.
So, all right, I'll tell you this. I'll tell you one if we have time for the second. So, I was just thinking about it this week, and I said, man, I had two really good stories there. This one, it was like a day or two before Christmas. It may have even been Christmas Eve. It was getting dark out, and it's dark early, so it was like it must have been 5:30 or something like that. And I'm working with my boss and another guy, and we're gonna like leave, and then it's like see these two women come in, and I was like, man, they're looking kind of suspicious. And he's like, really? I go, yeah, man, they're gonna steal, man. Like, we can't leave yet. And I'm on the camera. He's like, all right. So the one guy goes out to the sales floor, and he's like, pretending to shop. I'm on the camera. I'm like, we had the Nextel walkies back then where you could like click it and be like, bleep, bleep,
yeah,
like, bleep, bleep, and you like say, over, hello, and then I was like, hey, they're fucking just loading up. And they were, it was an older black lady, and then it was a skinny crackhead looking black lady with like dreads, but she looked like something out of Orange is the New Black, right? So, no, I'm not seriously. So I'm watching them. I'm like, oh my god, they're just loading up bags. Like, no care in the world, they're loading up bags. So I'm watching, and you get a little adrenaline rush when this happens. So he's like, all right, we're gonna go outside and stop them. So he said, go outside. Me and the other guy go outside. He was gonna stand the camera, the boss, because he didn't like to get into the action too much. So we go outside and we're waiting. He's like, all right, they're coming right now. Grab them. So and we're talking thousands of dollars, thousands. So we get out there and I go to grab them, and he says, go for the crackhead looking chick. I'll go for the older one, because he was older, so he figured it would be an easy, So we go to stop him. The old lady takes off running, like in slow motion though. Like, she's going, but it ain't very fast. And the other one takes off. Now she's quick, and she makes a hook to the left. Well, me and the other guy both make a motion, grab her, and we take her right into the window. Boom! Into the window. So we got her good, and she's like fighting. I will never forget this sound. I see my boss come flying out the door, chasing the lady, and all I heard was, I don't know if you're going to be able to hear this, but this is what I heard. That's what I heard. Smack! And I'm fighting this lady, but I have to turn around and see. He is in the middle of the road on top of this big fat woman. He drilled her to the concrete.
like a tackle.
Right, but here's the funny part. I will never forget this visual. She's so big, he's so little, that as he's got her, choking her out on top, his feet were like flailing in the air because she was so big that she created like a mound. And like cars are beeping horns, but the funny part is I was like new to loss prevention. It was like my first year. So we get them in the office finally, and the crackhead would not take her eyes off me. So now I was like, why does she keep staring at me? They're like, don't worry about it. And she's like, eyes are locked on me. Nobody else in the room but me. And the police come, and they're like, trying to get their information, whatever. And as this is happening, she's staring at me going, I'm going to find you. I'm going to find you. I'm going to find you. And I'm young. I'm 24 years old. I was like, oh my God, is she really going to find me? And they're like, stop. She's not going to find you.
What?
And she just, her eyes never blinked. She never took them off me. But I want you to picture crackhead, no teeth. She had zero, neither of them had teeth. and she
Yeah.
had these little like knob dreadlock things, but they were like little knobs with rubber bands, and it was the whole head, but the rest was like bald, and literally just stared at me. She's handcuffed, and she just kept saying, "I'm gonna find you, and when I find you, I'm gonna kill you. I'm gonna kill you. I'm gonna find you. I'm gonna eat you. I'm gonna eat you." And I'm like freaking out. I was like, guys, if she's gonna kill me and eat me, they're like, shut the fuck up. She's going to jail. So it's like this entire moment. You're 20. I was 24. I'm about to be 40. So I can visualize the getting her. Like I can visualize like stopping them, the sound. I can remember exactly what her face, hair. I can tell you what she was wearing as she stared and told me she was going to eat me, kill me and eat me. And the cop kept telling her, "Shut the fuck up!" And she was not even looking at him. She would keep her eyes on me and be like, "I ain't shutting the fuck up. I'm gonna eat his ass. I'm gonna kill him. I'm gonna eat him."
She's laser locked on you, man.
Right, just going. So I would never. I'll just never forget that. But the adrenaline rush is stopping them. So they go. They call in like detectives. So like plainclothes detectives that come in, and they're like, "Man, this is like a really big deal." And we're like, "What? Like what happened?" And they're like, "We just went into their trunk. They were just released from prison like 3 hours ago. They don't even know each other. They happen to get released at the same time and met each other outside. And the one's like, oh, you're released?" She's like, "Yeah." She's like, I got a car. Like somebody's bringing my car. She's like, "Oh, you want to ride? Yeah, let's go and steal." So they had stolen from Bed Bath & Beyond, Best Buy, CVS, and then Stein Mart was the last in the plaza. So we were the last stop. They pulled out like I'm talking, $20,000-$30,000 in shit out of the car. All these letters from prison, and they're reading them, and they're like, "You guys don't know like how big of a deal this was." And we're like, "What?" And they're like the one woman was the one who wanted to kill and eat me was in jail for murder, but she had like just gotten out after like serving this like long sentence. I'm like, oh my god, she was really gonna kill and eat me. Like she's gonna
Yes.
like this is gonna happen. And the cop's like, "She ain't getting out this time. You don't have to worry about it." I was like, no, like I gotta go to witness protection. Like this is bad. Like and the guy's like, the cop's like, "Relax, he's not getting out, don't worry." So I don't ever know what happened to them. They were older, so I mean they're probably dead by now. But
I wish.
yeah, no,
I wish I knew what that person looked like at a photo, because it would be worth the money to hire someone that looked like her to like come up to you one day and stick like something sharp in your rib and go, "I got you now, motherfucker."
I got you, motherfucker. Told you I was going to eat you. But I remember she looked like something from Orange is the New Black. That's what she looked like.
I don't even know what that means. Have you seen that show?
Yeah.
There's like that. It's like it runs the gamut. Are you referencing a certain person in it? Because
Yes,
we're like,
there's a certain person in that show that I can pull up a picture and I would be like, "Oh my god, that's her." Because that's what she looked like.
Is it Crazy Eyes, or is it the little crackhead girl?
I think it's Crazy Eyes.
Oh, Crazy Eyes. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Because you were like saying it looks just like Orange is the New Black, and I'm like, that's a show, not a person. There were like 50 characters on that show.
Right. I don't remember. It's Crazy Eyes. Yeah, she had that same hair as Crazy Eyes.
Okay.
But she was skinnier because she was crackhead.
Right.
Yeah. But I will never forget. I will never. I know these stories are probably not interesting to anybody, but like if I told
funny.
Other loss prevention people, the other story I have is my first day as I was in I got into loss prevention. They trained me. It was a Sunday. It was the first day I was ever worked by myself, because you couldn't work by yourself till you were certified. So it was the first day I was certified. I got the blessing. It's your first day working by yourself. I'm like, okay, cool. So I had never caught in a shoplifter by myself before. It was always with somebody else. So like first day, Boca Raton, Sunday. And I only know it was a Sunday, and it was the MTV Music Awards were in Miami for the first time ever. Do you remember when they were there? There's a reason for this.
That's
part.
random. Okay.
No, it's not random, because there's a reason why. I'm telling you this. So,
Okay.
first time had ever been in Miami. It was a big deal. So I'm on the cameras, and I see this white guy come in, and he's got slacks on and a polo, but he's wearing sunglasses. And he didn't take the sunglasses off. And I said, "Stein Mart old people shop there." So like right away, he stuck out like a sore thumb. I was like, this is kind of weird. And he goes over to the slacks, the khakis, the navy, the black, and he just grabs like 5 or 6 pairs, but he never looks at them. I'm like, oh, this fucking guy. So now I'm like shaking because my adrenaline's going. Because
Like
I'm
he
like,
just
this is about to.
like he didn't even look at the sizes or anything. He just
Didn't even
grabbed a
look at the
bunch.
sizes.
Okay.
Just grabbed like 4 different colors,
Right.
5 different colors. So I'm like, now I'm nervous. I'm like kind of shaking because I'm like, this is about to happen my first time. Like I've never done this by myself. Like this is fucking scary because it's a scary thing. So and every time I like to this day, I mean I don't catch shoplifters anymore, but if that situation happens, the same thing happens every time. You don't have to take a piss till the guy starts to or woman starts to steal, and then it's like automatic. I'm like, I gotta fucking pee. So now I'm standing up, like I'm standing because I can't even sit in the chair because I got the pee fucking legs going, the Jimmy leg, and I'm like pacing back and forth, watching this guy, and he's kind of walking around, and then he goes to the fitting room. Well, the fitting room, my office had a peephole, and the peephole, because to see who was knocking on the door. But the fitting room was right there. So I just looked through the peephole and watched him walk in the fitting room with all the pants and go into a stall. So I'm like, okay, cool. So my thought is, all right, he's going to come out. I'll see what happens from there. He comes out. He doesn't have any of the pants. But I'm looking through the peephole, and I can see the moron put all the pants on. And I can see khaki, navy, black. They're layered because some are shorter than others. And I can see them coming out of the bottom of his pants. I'm like, oh, so he literally walked out. I opened my door and walked right behind him. I go look, there's all the empty hangers, the sensor tags. He busted them all off.
Yeah.
So I'm just walking behind him. I have to pee. I'm shaking because I'm so nervous. And I'm like, and you don't want to fuck up because you get fired. So I'm like, oh, this is such a big deal. So he gets to the door, and I just follow him outside. And I just, as soon as we step outside.
I got a question, lost prevention question here. Do you let them leave so that technically they've stolen?
Right, they have to pass all points of sale. In the state of Florida, you have to. Well, so I think Florida's changing now. I think if you just conceal it, you're done. But as a company, you want them to pass because it shows no intent to pay for the merchandise, right? Especially in this day and age where there's people bringing their own bags in and shit. So
he might have come up and had you bar scan every layer while he's wearing them,
Right. So he literally opened the door. He stepped outside. I was right behind him, literally on his tail. And the minute he opened the door and stepped out, I just stepped right around in front of him, and now we're on the sidewalk. I was like, hey, buddy, I'm with Stein Mart or whatever, blah, 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 lost prevention. I need my pants back, man. You have to come inside. And he's like, oh, man, come on, man. He's like, look, can we just do this? I'll give him back. I go, just come in my office. We'll take care of it there. I said, I really just need my stuff back. And, I'm not going to have you take your pants off out here. I need my stuff back. So we're walking back to the office, and he's cool. He's calm as fuck.
Mm-hmm. And
we're walking back, and this is where the MTV Music Awards come in. He goes, come on, man, listen. I'll go in there. I'll take them off. If you let me go, I'll give you 2 tickets to tonight's MTV Music Awards. And I'm like, what? I didn't watch the music. I go, what are you talking about? He goes, first time ever in Miami, brother. It's tonight. I'm going. But I got 2 extra tickets. I'll give you those 2. You just let me go. I said, come in the office. Let me fill out the paperwork. Give me my pants back. We'll figure it out from there. So, and then right now, I don't know what I'm doing yet. I'm still nervous, So we get in the office, and he has a wad of, I'm talking thousands of dollars, a wad of just hundreds, right? Rubber band. He's like, I'll give you this. And I'm like, that'd be nice. I probably could quit, but then I'll get fired. I don't know. It's I don't know. I'm so confused. And I don't know who this guy is.
He's got this wad of money, and he's stealing pants.
Right. Well, it gets better. So he's he's trying to bribe me, whatever. And I was like, dude, just shut the fuck up. Please just stop. I go, you're driving me crazy. Let me just figure this out. So I step out of we're in the office, and I call the police, right?
Right.
So, we're talking Stein Mart pants, $60, $70 a pop. He's got 5 pairs. This is a pretty big deal. So they're like Tommy Hilfigers, at that time it was a hot item. So I call the police, and I come back in, and I go, I call my boss, and he's like, yep, ring him up, send him to jail. So we're just sitting there. He's still trying to bribe me. And I had a monitor that had the picture of the front door. Well, I was a rookie and didn't know that you had to shut that off. So I left it on. This guy has no clue the police are coming. So I leave the monitor on because I'm a rookie and have no clue. Literally my first day.
Right.
And we're sitting there, and I'm kind of in the doorway, though, just so he didn't run out. And he's sitting in a chair. And he goes, the cops walk in, and he goes, "You called the cops?" I'm like, "Oh fuck!" And I look at the screen. I was like, "Oh, I didn't shut the screen off." He gets up. He takes 2 steps towards me, and I'm like, "Oh, we're about to fight." And I was like, "Okay." Like I'm breathing heavy. He turns around and runs full speed into the other wall head first. Boom! Like literally through the wall, like he was the fucking Kool-Aid man. Now,
Like,
first
does it go through the wall?
head goes through the wall.
Oh my
He put his
God.
head right through the wall. So me, I'm like full on body in shock. Like I'm like, and I literally remember I went, "Oh my God!" Like I didn't know what to do. So he like takes his head out of the wall, like, and all of a sudden turns into the fucking Incredible Hulk. So I run out of the office, and the cops are leisurely walking. I was like, I'm waiting. I'm like, hurry up, hurry up. So they come running in, and it was a older officer. Like growing up, he was like the officer in town, but he was like on the way to retirement. He was like a year or two away. Old man, white guy, and there was a big black guy. And the big black guy was the guy who bump chest the woman.
Okay, right.
He always came to the calls. The white guy was he was senior level, so he never came around. He was older, like I said, ready to retire. But they came together. So I'm like in the where the little fitting room is. This guy's shaking off like drywall off his head, like the Incredible Hulk. And I go, he's going crazy. He just ran through the wall. They step in the office and they're like, going to apprehend him. This guy, he was probably 5'5", maybe 5'6", little guy, skinny. He just runs full speed and they clash. I'm like, oh shit! And they slam him down on the ground, and now he's face down on the ground, and he's fighting them. Like they're full on fighting. It's 2-on-1, and this guy is holding his own with them. This little skinny guy, and I'm just standing in the doorway in like a crouching position. As if I was gonna help, like, but I'm not gonna help because I didn't know what to do. And they're beating him with like batons. I'm talking like full on beating him with batons, and he's screaming, "I don't feel a fucking thing!" Just screaming. I'm like, oh my God, what is going on? And the one cop's like, we need backup, we need backup. So I go to look at the screen at the door, and it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, like the whole squad's there now. And they're all running in the room. So now I'm outside of the room. There's like 8 or 9 cops in the room. And I mean, they are dropping elbows and knees, and they can't get his hands behind his back. And he's screaming. I will never forget this. It was after 9/11, and he was screaming, "I don't feel a thing." And I mean, this guy was getting fucking hammered, and he's like, "I don't feel a thing," drugged up, and he goes, "Fuck you, pigs! I was in the burning buildings on 9/11." This is what he's screaming. I was in the burning buildings. You cocksuckers stole the wallets and the jewelry off all the dead people. You pieces of shit. Now, I look outside my office, and there's a congregation of like 40 old women who are shopping, going, "What's going on?" Old Jewish women, because it's Boca. What's going on? I'm like, okay, everybody back up. I mean, and it's full on fight. Like my office is totally destroyed. Just destroyed. So they are trying to cuff him, and the old officer, the guys who are about to retire, the guy turns around and takes a fucking chunk out of his arm, bites it.
Oh.
Arr! Right. So now that cop's like, son of a bitch. He's punching him in the head, and he's not even letting go. So he finally gets him off. His arm's fucking bleeding. He's got a chunk out of his arm. They can't handcuff him. They could not get the handcuffs on him. So they get him on his back eventually, and I mean, he is just getting the shit beat out of him. Well, they end up hog-tying him like a fucking, his hands and feet are tied together like a hog.
Right.
So they get him hog-tied, and they call an ambulance. Like, this guy's got to go to the hospital. Like, he's fucked up. So they get him hog-tied, and they're hog-tying
But
him.
he wasn't acting like he was on drugs when you were talking to him, was he?
I thought he was just high, because he was. Like, even the way he talked, he was just, like, really, like, mellow.
Yeah, like he smoked.
And he never took his sunglasses off.
Right.
Until he ran through the wall. And so they get him hogtied, and they're carrying him through the store, and he's like, I mean, it's fucking busy, and he's screaming, like, "You fucking cocksuckers! You motherfuckers! You're criminals! You stole from the dead people!" Just
Wow.
scream, and everybody's like, "Oh my god!" So they get him outside. They put him on the gurney, hogtied. Well, what do you think happens? He flops off
Oh,
because
the
he's like,
gurney fell.
no, everything's down on the ground. So now he's on the ground. The other cop's getting attended. His arm's all bloody. He's got a chunk missing from it, and they can't get him on. So now the ambulance are like, just throw him in the fucking cop car and take him to the hospital. Well, he's like literally like a dead, like a fish out of water. He's flaring. He's all over the place, and they're like, hogtied, and he's spitting now. Now he's
Oh.
spitting at everybody. So they get the Hannibal Lecter mask and they put it on him. So now he's hogtied. We have a whole scene outside, hogtied. He's got the Hannibal Lecter mask on, and they just shoved him in the cop car, hogtied with the Hannibal Lecter mask on.
That's
So
crazy.
I called my boss, and I'm like, I don't know. I said, I don't even know what just happened. He's like, what? I was like, if I tell you, you're not even going to believe me. I said, this is not even like, this is my first day. I don't even know. I may not even come back tomorrow. Like, that's how I told him that. I'm not coming back. I don't even know if I want to do this job. Like, I don't even know what just happened. And he's like, relax, calm down. I go, no, like, I go, like, you don't understand. So I tell him the story. He's like, he was in the Secret Service. He goes, I was in the Secret Service. I've been in loss prevention for 20 years. After the Secret Service, I've never heard this happen before. I was like, of course you never heard this. It's me. It's my first day. Of course this had to happen. I was like, I don't want to come back anymore. I'm done. I quit. I'm not working anymore. He's like, no, relax. This is odd. This has never happened. Odd, right. I said, I got a hole in the fucking wall. I got my office. It's literally in shambles. There's blood. It was a disaster. I said, the people, I'm going to be fired. Like this is ridiculous. And it was a disaster. And, I was like, I'm not coming back to work. He's like, take a couple days off, So like I did, and I went back, and I was like hesitant, like the next couple of weeks.
You're like
I'd be
shell-shocked.
Right. And there would even be like old ladies stealing. I'd be like, I don't want to stop her. What if she goes crazy? Like, I don't know. Like, I've never seen, but that was one of the most insane things I've ever seen. Like, seeing the guy just hulk up after he put his head through a fucking wall. I was like, oh, fuck. Like, I thought I was going to die. Crazy shit. That's loss prevention, pal.
Two things that came to mind during that story was, one, when you said he just got up and then spun around and went into the wall, I thought he was like trying to frame you, like beating him or something. Like, remember in Pulp Fiction? Was it Pulp Fiction?
Yeah,
not Pulp Fiction. Fight Club. Remember when he framed his boss and got all the flight vouchers and stuff? I'm like, oh, is he trying to make it like you beat him or something?
No.
And then the other thing I thought of was, like, if you had taken the deal, and like, how weird would it have been sitting next to the guy you caught for shoplifting all night at the MTV?
At the music awards, right?
Like, because he's like, it's not like he was giving you his ticket. It was that he had extra tickets.
He was going with his girlfriend. He told me.
So she's gonna be like, "Oh, how did you guys meet?" You're gonna be like, "Oh, I caught him shoplifting."
Right. And here's the worst part. He was wearing a nice pair of slacks. I'm not sure why he was stealing. Like, was he stealing slacks for other people that were going? Like, I don't even know what happened.
Yeah, and like, he didn't check sizes, and you said he had like a wad of money, like he had cash on him.
But I'm gonna tell you, he had the tickets on him. He had the tickets on him.
That's funny,
right? But the whole situation was like at first when he did that, I thought it was like a plant because I was like, maybe they're trying to test me or something. You don't know.
Yeah, where's Ashton Kutcher?
Right. Like, you just don't know. And my boss was like, he was a prankster. And so I thought, like, is this a joke? Like, I don't want to, because he even played a prank on me one time where he told me that there was I had never like interrogated someone for like who worked there for theft. When somebody who works at the inside steals, you talk to them about it, right?
Right.
So he sent me to this class. It cost like $1,500 where I learned to like read people and do all this. So like after the class, the week after, he was like, "Hey, we got someone. I want you to talk to them." I'm like, "Oh wow, like this is a big deal. Like I've never done this before." Like, so like I practiced in the mirror in the car, and then I get there and he goes, "It's the cleaning lady. Go grab her and talk to her." So I go in the back and she's sweeping, and I said, "Hey, come talk to me." Blah, blah, blah. And I bring her in the office, and I mean, I had this like 40-minute conversation with her about stealing, and she just keeps telling me, "I didn't steal. I don't know what you're talking about." And now I'm
Oh
like,
my
I'm
God.
sweating, I'm nervous, I can't breathe. I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, and I don't know what to do. I'm beating around the bush. It was like one of the worst feelings because I was like, I failed. So next thing I know, my boss opens the door. I'm like, he wasn't there. I go, what are you doing here? He goes, we're fucking with you. We just hired her. She works with us. I'm like, what? He's like, I was just fucking with you. I said, for 45 fucking minutes, you fucked with me? Like, I was sweating. My shirt was wet.
Oh my
Here's
God.
the best part. He goes, yeah, turn around. I hit a camera in the plant. There was a camera in the plant behind me. He filmed the whole thing.
Oh, where can we get this footage?
I don't even know if he has it anymore.
That's fun.
Yeah.
He might be one of those weirdos that has a whole collection of those. Like that's his fetish. He
Yeah.
just watches those at night naked.
But like the feeling, like I got that feeling at one point, like I had to go diarrhea because I was so nervous, like about what was happening. So he was like, when he told me he was joking or whatever, I was like, oh my God, like this is crazy. I was like, I have to go to the bathroom, and I was to the point of I wanted to throw up, like I was sick to my stomach. That he let me. And what a 10-minute joke? Okay, it was like 45 minutes you had going. My shirt was wet, like my pants. I was wearing khakis. They were like I was so sweaty, like you could see through. Like it was the worst, the worst.
It's like the Family Guy gag where it keeps going until it's like not funny, but then it keeps going and it gets funny again. And it must have been what they were doing watching you.
Right? Like, should we go in there? No. Like,
I think he's had enough. No, it's funny again
no.
now. Yeah.
Right.
So,
Right. And the worst part is he goes, well, the plan was she was only supposed to deny for like 5 minutes. This was the original plan.
Yeah.
He goes, we gave her the rules. And I was like, lady, I don't even know. I was like, why would you? She goes, I honestly, after the second one, I saw how nervous you were. I just kept going. I was like, oh.
She was enjoying it too. Oh my God.
Right. I was like, you motherfuckers. Right.
So So I'm curious. Does that class actually work where you read people?
Yeah, I've been.
Have you been reading
3
me?
times.
Have you been
I
reading?
can read everybody. Listen, I'm the guy who goes to, and it's funny because it's like we're talking about today at my current job. I'm the guy who goes to Walmart or Target, and my kids hate it because we'll be walking. I'll go, that person's gonna steal, and they're like, what? I go, I'm telling you right now. You give me 2 minutes of watching them. And it always happens, and I'll go get the loss prevention person. I'll be like, hey, that person over there, they're stealing. Like, how do you know? I go, I'm fucking good at this. I've been doing it for 15 years. Like, I know what I'm talking about.
That's crazy.
At Walmart, I was walking around, and I just watch people, and I see a guy, and I know he's loss prevention. So I go up to him, and I go, hey, there's a lady over there, and she's in jewelry, and I'm telling you right now, she's about to take you blind. He goes, what? I go, listen, I know who you are, man. Just go over there. So he goes and does this thing. He finds me after. He goes, I got to ask you, man, how the hell did you know who I was? I said, I've been doing this for 15 fucking years. I go, I'm going to tell you something. You were so obvious. I go, I noticed you within the first 3 minutes. I walked in. He goes, how? I go, because I saw you hiding behind a shelf watching somebody. I go, and you're watching the wrong person because she's robbing you blind in jewelry. And so now every time I go there and see him, he's like, hey, man. But like you could tell he feels like he feels bad. Like he's like he's a shitty LP person.
Yeah, you exposed him.
Right, like I exposed the business. And he's like, every time I see him, and he said it to me a couple times where he's like, I just can't believe you knew. I go, I know everything, man. I go, look, I'm shopping for the next 15 minutes. If I see something, I'll let you know. Because like you obviously are not good at it.
I got you covered. Oh, right. That's funny.
Right. And it's funny because at JoJo, our good friend JoJo over there in South Carolina.
Well, you're good.
His LP
you're good
guy
friend.
used to be,
you're good friend.
His LP guy used to be a midget.
What do you mean used to be a midget?
Yeah, he didn't grow. He's still a midget. But here's the funny story with that. He's a midget loss prevention guy. Well, first of all, like, you'll never think that there's a midget watching you steal. Like, there's no way you're going to ever think that, right?
Right.
But on the other hand, a lot of people just stare at the midget anyway. So, like, I don't know. Does it work? Does it not work? But here's the best part. We talked to him one day, and we're like, hey, we're both in loss prevention too. And we start talking. Guess what this little motherfucker says?
What?
He goes, Yeah, I used to do pro wrestling too. I was like, get the fuck out of
Oh.
here! I was like, you're a fucking midget wrestler. You guys are you're hard to find.
Are they? I thought every fucking midget dabbled in pro
No, that's so
wrestling.
expensive too. You can't book a midget to wrestle. They're like a fortune.
Now listen,
Yeah.
we're using midget as an industry term. Wrestling is still
right.
allowed and
That's still-
encouraged. They insist
Right.
that you refer to them as midgets in wrestling.
Right.
So don't
he
don't
was-
get all
right.
fucking worked up, people.
He's a door greeter there now. He's
Right.
a door greeter because I get a FaceTime one day and it's JoJo FaceTiming me with the door greeter midget. I was like, oh, he's like, hey man. I was like, oh, you're the door greeter now? He's like, yeah, I took a step back. I was like, what a door greeter that is.
Well, is he? Well, but the question is he just a door greeter during the holiday season? If you know what I mean.
Oh, Jesus. No, this was like in June.
Oh, okay. We weren't having Christmas.
Wow. No, they didn't put a little alfalfa on him. God. Anyway, you want to talk? We're 45 minutes in.
I know.
I got one more story, and then we can go because I got to take a poop ski.
Is this the one from this weekend?
Right, this fitting ending, a bathroom story when I'm about to go into the
Bathroom story for bathroom time. Believe me, I'm holding my breath downstairs too.
I'm still walking. I've probably done 10,000 steps on this podcast because I'm clenching cheeks. If I sit down, it's coming out.
All right, keep going.
So here we go.
Let's go.
So my son Nick had a basketball game this weekend. It was an all-day affair. It was in a town called Gray, Georgia. It's an hour and 20 minutes of nothing. And then all of a sudden you get to this town that has a McDonald's, a Popeye's chicken, a bank I never heard of, and a Waffle House because it's Georgia, and a supermarket called Ingles. That's the name. It's a local mom and pop. It's only in like 3 states.
Yeah, I've heard of Ingles.
So I think they have like only a couple hundred stores. But this Ingles has a Starbucks inside. So I'm like, oh, great. We're here all day. This is going to be great. So, by the way, wave 1 is passed. I'm on to wave 2. So I'm going to talk fast. So I go into the Ingles. I drop Nick off. And we had some time before the game. So I said, I'm going to run and get a coffee. But I got to use the bathroom. So I get in there, and I said, all right. I walk in, and I see everybody in there this is like the most redneck town ever. Everybody knows everybody. It's like, it's a weird, like, it almost feels like it's a movie. And, it's just a whole bunch of white rednecks. There was one black guy, but he was dressed like the white rednecks. So I was like, this is just like something out of Truman's Show. I don't even know. It's weird.
Can I be honest? The Starbucks sounds out of place.
Like, it's funny because ordering, I felt weird because I just get a coffee, but all these rednecks were ordering, and it was like, it was weird this sounds totally like crazy, but it was weird to watch them like, let me get a white mocha double grande, and I'm like, this is so weird. Like, this is not even normal.
Right.
Like, it was weird. So I said, let me go to the bathroom first. So I'm walking to the bathroom, and it's in the back right corner. Every Ingles bathroom's in the back right corner, and Ingles looks like it was built in 1972, and they never upgraded it. It's still 1972 inside the building, minus the Starbucks. So when you say out of place, totally out of place.
Right.
So I get to the bathroom, and there's a kid who works there with his little apron on, and he's got a mop in his hand, and he has this like really what's like the Three Stooges, Shemp, is that his name? Haircut. Like, it looks like his mom cut it.
Mo.
Right?
Yeah.
Like his mom cut it, but it was like uneven, and like there's hair in the top, but it's not even, and it's like he looks like he just woke up and it was just there. Like CJ always sends me in the morning pictures of her hair. It looks like Kramer. It's everywhere. So he's standing there with a mop in his hand, but he's like not mopping, but the mop is moving, but he's standing in front of the door. So
is he
it's like,
is he a normal kid, or is he more of a Festus?
So this is the thing. It looks like his mom and dad are probably brother and sister because he had like weird, like teeth were sticking out. It's just like it was exactly what you would think
his eyes
someone in Gray, Georgia would look like.
His eyes are a little too close together.
Right. But he's just like staring into space, and the mop is moving, but it's not. It's grazing the floor. It's not even really touching the floor.
Right.
But he's in front of the door. So I was like, "Hey, buddy!" Like, my "Hey, buddy" wasn't like, "Hey," like I was trying to be nice. It was like, "Get the fuck out of the way so I can go to the bathroom."
Right.
And he literally just went, "That's all I got." but his face and eyes never moved. He was still looking in the direction he was looking in. His mouth was open, and he just grunted. So I squeezed by, and I go into this. There's the urinals. I think one was broke. It wasn't. I think it was COVID. Like, you couldn't go because there was another one. It was COVID, and then there was a guy finishing up. So I went in the stall.
Yeah.
Because I wasn't gonna wait. I had to go.
Right.
I had to pee. So I go in the stall, and I am the guy who, if I'm peeing in a stall, I don't close the door.
Me either.
I'm just peeing. Right.
Yeah.
There's no reason to close the door. So I fucking whip it out, and I'm starting my pee. And it's a long pee because I had an hour and 20 drive. I drank a lot of water.
Right.
I got to go.
Right.
So I'm peeing, and I'm like, and all of a sudden, I feel something hit my foot, the back of my heel. And I look down, and it's a mop. And I look behind me. He's inside the stall with me. Like, he's right behind me. And he's mopping, but not mopping. Like, he's trying to mop maybe, but he's in with me. And I'm not in the handicap stall, mind you. I'm in the small stall.
Right. It's a small stall. Yeah.
But he's past the line of the door.
Right.
Like, it's not like he was outside the door. He passed where the door was closed.
The only reason to be on that side of the line with another man in a stall is if you're doing coke together or there's a dick about to be sucked. Other than that, there's no reason.
There's no reason. Right. We're not crossing streams. We're not.
No. There's not enough room. Yeah.
No. Honestly, there's not enough. He couldn't have stood next to me. There's not. But he's in the stall with me, and I looked over. I was like, "You all right?" And he's like, and he's just, but he's still fake mopping, but he's not really mopping. So now I finish, and I'm if anybody knows me, it doesn't weird me out. I wasn't gonna get angry or anything. I'm in my head. I'm I cannot wait to call Ben. This is the most ridiculous fucking thing ever. I'm laughing. So I go to turn around, but now
he's in the way.
We're right. We're face to face. So instead of him stepping out to let me out, he just turns to the side, against the one wall. So I'm in my head, I'm going, this is fucking great. So I have to shimmy, slide out, shimmy out. But we're I can picture this. I visualize in my head because I'm laughing, but not visibly laughing to him. In my head, I'm going, this is unfucking believable. That this happens to me. So I shimmy. I'm and you can't walk. You have to slide out. That's how little the space is. And we're so close. My pants, my crotch is touching his as I slide out because we're that close. I've got my head back so we're not kissing. And I slide out, and we're and he's just holding the mop, but he's holding it as against his chest because the mop, he protected the mop pretty well.
Yeah.
So I slide out, I get to the sink, and I literally remember I turn the water on, and I'm shaking my head in just disbelief. And I turn around, and he's literally standing right next to me. Right, and he's fake mopping right next to me, and he's just staring at me and I'm looking at him is this guy serious? This is fucking really happening. And he gave me one more grunt, and I was like, have a good day. He's like, man. And as I'm leaving, another guy's coming in, and I'm like, oh, this guy's in for some shit. This is going to be, because he's in there now. He ain't leaving.
Right.
Yeah. I walked out, and immediately I pick up the phone. But it gets better. I don't know if I told you this part.
No, this is all you had told me before.
Oh, I didn't tell you the rest. So I get out, and I'm hysterically laughing. This is just absurd. But now I have to order Nick a sub. I'm going to order him a sub. Oh, no, sorry. I'm wrong. I left. I got my coffee, and I left. That's right. I went back a second time. So I left that time. And then at the end of his first game, we had hour and a half or 2 hours of games. I went back because I was hungry.
Right.
So I said, I'm gonna get a salad. They had a nice salad bar. I'm gonna get a salad. I'm gonna get Nick a sub. So I go to get in line to get the sub, and I'm like, what is taking so long? This is the guy, the lady in front of me is ordering a sub, but it's it's taking forever, right? How long does it take to make a sub? Hello?
I don't know, like I don't know,
She hung up on me.
like 3 to 6 minutes.
Right. So
Yeah.
I'm watching. I'm like, what is going on over here? So finally, like, and I'm an antsy person. I don't like to wait. I don't like. I'm a huge like. I do not like the Southern culture. There's no sense of urgency anywhere in the South.
Right.
So I'm like, I'm antsy. I'm pacing. I think I may have like. I've been texting CJ or something like that. I was telling somebody. I was like, what is going on? So I get up there, and then I realize she's either on drugs or she's the mother of the kid who just penis touched me in the bathroom. She is like, she raised her head like the Undertaker. It was like slow. Her eyes were like rolled up, and she's like, "Can I help you?" I'm like, "Oh, motherfucker!" I said, "I just need a ham. I need a foot-long ham, white bread with mayo. That's it. That's all he wants. Ham and mayo. Boring kid."
Oh, not even cheese.
She moved like just a snail.
Like a
She
sloth.
gets the bread. And I'm thinking, do I film her because
Yes.
but I can't because behind me is like Susan from the local church who knows everyone, and I'm like, I'm like, if I'm take out my phone and film, like I'm gonna be crucified. Like I may not even make it out of this town today, right?
Well, listen,
She's like.
for
She's
future
a teacher.
reference.
The lady behind me is a teacher. I know she is because everybody saying it to her. So I was like, oh, I'm outnumbered here.
For future
So
reference,
yeah,
anytime you have to ask, should I film? The answer is always yes.
I know, but this was like I felt uncomfortable. I was out of my environment. I mean, I got a man bun, a beard, a fanny pack on
Oh,
with sweatpants,
yeah,
and a jacket with no shirt underneath, mind you, and the zipper open like I just got like a city slicker.
Yeah, you don't
Like,
belong at all.
no, no. So like, and everybody knew I didn't belong there. So I'm like, this is just it's a weird situation. So I'm watching her move in slow motion, and she can't find the ham. She can't find the ham. Now every meat has a compartment, like like the deli, right?
Right.
She can't find the ham. She's looking under the roast beef for the ham, as if the ham was hiding under the roast beef, right? But she's moving so slow,
Right.
right? And I'm like, I'm literally antsy, like I'm shaking, like I'm like moving from side to side. I look like a crackhead because I'm like, and I'm this is just me, like I'm verbal about her, and I'm like, oh, hurry the fuck up, like Jesus Christ, the ham can't be that far, like, so then I'm like, she's like, I gotta cut the ham, and I'm like, oh, this is gonna take 30 fucking minutes for her to cut ham. Another girl comes over and she's like, there's ham right there. And she's like, where? The ham is in the fucking ham tray where the ham should be.
What that labeled ham?
Not under the fucking roast beef. So she takes the ham out and she's like, it's not enough. I'm like, what? I was like, what do you mean? She got the mask on. I got, I'm like, what? She's like, it's not enough ham. I'm like, oh, fuck. She's looking for more ham. And the other girl tells her, oh, it's under the turkey. The ham was under the fucking turkey. Why was the ham under the turkey?
Oh,
Right?
oh my God.
You ready for this?
Yes, always.
She takes one fucking extra piece, and puts it on there. I was short one ham. Nick would have never known if we were short one piece of fucking ham. I promise you.
No, if
One piece of ham.
God forbid the sandwich tasted like something other than bread.
Right, one piece of ham. Now I thought maybe a whole nother layer she was missing. One piece.
Oh my God.
Right. Then she looks at me and goes, "Do you want it cut in half?" I'm like, yeah, isn't that normal? Like, what do you mean? Do you people not cut your sandwiches in half here? So she cuts it. I get it. I'm fucking infuriated. So now I'm going to go get my salad. Well, the salad bar is phenomenal looking. Problem is, it's low, and the glass, the COVID glass they've installed, is so low that I have to stick my hand, like an arm in, to grab the eggs and the broccoli that were in the back.
Mm-hmm.
So now I'm thinking to myself, like, my face is 2 inches from the fucking, like, olives. Like, if I have COVID, everybody's got it now because I'm spitting all over the place. So I get it out, I get the salad, I pay for it, I go to get my coffee. So I get another coffee, and I order the coffee, blah, blah, blah. And the lady says, "Do you want your milk steamed?" I said, "Yeah, I love my milk steamed. It's great." So the girl goes to steam the milk, but for some reason doesn't put the cup there. She puts her hand and steams the milk on her hand.
What?
Like, I saw it happen. I was standing right there. Like I was in like arm's distance from her. And she's like, ah! Like her hand is like literally crisp burnt. It's a red.
Dude.
Because she just took hot milk out of the hot milk machine, the cream, and it literally, there was no cup. It was just her hand. I don't know what she was doing. She forgot to put the cup.
You need to start wearing a body cam like a cop.
But so she's in pain, visibly in pain. Her thumb is like, in that region of her hand is bright red.
Oh
Do you know what the manager says to her? She goes, "First time making a coffee?" That's what she said to her. I'm an asshole. I start busting out laughing, and they both look at me, and I go, honestly, I was going to say the same thing. I'm like, what? In my head, I go, "Was this her first time? Like, who fucking does that?" So the girl's in pain though. Like that probably required like an ice pack. I got my coffee. I went on my way, but I don't ever want to go to Jones County again in my life.
Oh my God. Gray, Georgia.
Gray, Georgia, Jones County. Never again.
Everyone, go look for the mop boy in Gray, Georgia.
God, what a weird experience.
Oh my God.
All right, well, I'm on level 3. We've gone an hour. I'm literally prairie dog, and he's coming out to check the weather. He's coming to see if we're having a longer winter or not.
Just make sure he sees his own shadow, so he buys yourself a couple more minutes.
Yeah, well, I gotta go.
All right, okay, bye.
Goodbye.